Hello and welcome to the yet another enlightening session of Time to Shine. This is your host Ruxar Sayed, and today our special guest is Dimple Dhalwani. She is a meditation coach and an energy healer. Her very most important and most influential skill, you can say, is to support and uplift people through her voice. She also has a YouTube channel named The Dimple Way, where she connects people together and also supports small businesses. Welcome, Dimple, on my show, and it is an honor, to have a chat with you today.
Thank you, Ruxar, for having me on this show. It's lovely to be speaking to your audience, and I'm so glad you gave me this opportunity today.
Thank you so much. So, Dimple, my very first question is, as I'm very curious to know also, that what made you do what you do?
Honestly, it was boredom. I've said this a lot of times before. I was completely bored one vacation, and I was like, what am I going to do? I'm not traveling. I didn't want to pick up the typical hobbies that we would pick, like the summer classes and everything. And I just went in for a numerology class. And I think that kind of changed the whole landscape for me because I was so intrigued by just what numbers can say about a person, or, you understand two people, you connect them, you join them. And there's so much about your life that that kind of took me to different exploring different courses along the field of like bioenergy field and your the mystical world, occult sciences. But I always say that a strong part of me has been related to my upbringing, because ever since I was young, as a kid, I've gone for like spiritual classes for kids, then for teenagers. I've attended certain, like, what we call religious functions, satsangs. I've attended meditations, and we've lived in a joint family, so everyone kind of had their own guru or their own god they believed in. And so it's like as kids we would go everywhere. So I think because of that whole window shopping that happened in my childhood and in my teenage years, this was something that came. I feel like I was already prepared for it. So when it came to me in my late teens and early 20s, I was like, okay, I dived in and I'm like, this is it.
Yeah. So, Dimple, as you are a meditation coach,
Yes.
so what, according to you, is the best time to meditate in a day?
So this is a little tricky question, because the ideal time that they say is morning 4 a.m.
Morning.
Between like 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. is, in all practices, in all religions, all cultures across the world, they will tell you that early morning time of 4 a.m. is the most ideal time. But what I believe, Ruxar, with the kind of lifestyles we have, we've moved, we have
Super busy lifestyle, we can say.
yeah, and a lot of us are working night shifts, So there are a lot of people who can't leave work and, like meditate. So all I tell everyone is, as long as you even spend 5 minutes of the day with yourself at any given point of time, it is more than enough. That's enough to start the habit of practicing meditation.
That's really amazing to know. Like 5 minutes also is enough for,
Yeah. And I tell everyone, I'm like, in between your work breaks, or in between, let's say you're running around to get your works done, just take 5 minutes and just sit by yourself, sit in silence, and you will enjoy the bliss it gives you, because it's going to like take you through the whole day in a more calmer state of mind, in a more relaxed state of mind. So everything you're approaching also is more tuned to your energy field, because you've already meditated. So your energies are all working in sync with each other. So I always tell people, start with the 5-minute routine, do it daily, because anything that becomes a habit becomes a part of our lifestyle.
Yes.
And preferably, we say pick one time, like let's say you're doing at 1 p.m. during your lunch break for 5 minutes. We preferably say do it the same time, so that it's easier for you to get into the routine. Your mind is getting tuned to your body and to your soul.
Yes.
But irrespective of that, I tell everyone 5 minutes anytime in the day is a great way to start your meditation practice.
It's really interesting, really, because I also had a mindset that we have to at least meditate around 15 to 20 minutes in the beginning. And it is really shocking that even we can, have 5 minutes. For a normal person, if they see cell phone like 2 hours, we spend at least 2 hours or 1.5 hours, and just removing 5 minutes a day, it's really very easy if we see and
It's
start the
actually
routine.
very easy. And also
Yes,
just taking this one step ahead, meditation also doesn't really mean just sitting down and closing your eyes and getting into silence or connecting
yes,
with yourself. There are different forms of
different
meditation.
forms.
So, cooking could be meditation to you. Gardening could be meditation to
The
someone.
work which we love to do.
Anything that takes you into a state of peace, into a state of trance where you don't realize what's happening around you is already a form of meditation.
Yeah, and even Dimple, many people, most of us have the habit of journaling, have the habit of writing down the thoughts, maybe personal or noting down daily thoughts and whatever comes in our mind, whatever personal issues we have. So that is also a kind of meditation, writing down and keeping and maintaining a diary or journal.
Of
So
course, yes, it is,
yes,
because it's also the time you spend by yourself, to yourself. It's like you're talking to yourself through words,
yes,
and
yes,
you're
yes.
trying to understand yourself better. And that is also a form of meditation. That's why they say, like, we limit ourselves by what we are seeing out there. So we need to go out there, practice things, broaden our perspective, and try different forms. See how else can you really connect to yourself.
And it can even help us to, release our stress in a way.
It definitely does. It definitely does.
Yeah. So
That's why
moving
that's why
forward,
they
yes,
that's why
Dimple.
they sorry, the when you meditate, you calm down. So everything that is let's say a little phased out in you at that point of time, whether it's, sometimes we have negative thoughts, sometimes we are stressful, sometimes we're just
Yes.
tired. And because we're tired, we don't have the energy to do a lot of things. So when you meditate, it just gives you this boost of energy within you that, like, can take you ahead.
Yes, yes, absolutely true and interesting in a way. So moving further, what is your, YouTube channel, The Dimple Way, all about? I know a little bit about, supporting small businesses and all, but I
Yeah.
want to know in detail, like what it is and what idea, came back in your mind to start a YouTube channel.
Okay. So it's honestly, this also came out of fun. It was the first lockdown hit us in India, and I was working back then. I was working from home, but of course not. We weren't working the whole day. We were working for few hours in the day, and I'm just like, let's just do something fun. Like, how can I keep myself more entertained? So I saw a couple of people conducting IGTV lives, but these were more like brands that were talking to people or trying to get them
Hmm.
busy or anything. And I'm just like, let's do this. Let me do something for fun. So it was March 2020 when my first IGTV live, and that's where actually the whole idea of a YouTube channel was born. And I started it by just talking to people of different that come from different creative fields,
Hmm.
because I wanted them to share their ways of
Journeys.
giving creative ideas to people so that they could keep themselves entertained and could pass their time. So,
Hmm.
like, I had a makeup artist who was teaching people how to do makeup. I was like,
Hmm.
I had so I had a jeweler who was talking to the audience to tell them how they could draw, just or try and create designs, or try and understand how designs work with whatever they have. So I brought in different speakers that could keep people entertained. Then I had a nutritionist on board who was, because everyone was so concerned, they were not going out, they were not getting enough
Yeah.
sunlight, they were not exercising. So a nutritionist on board to tell them how they could inculcate more healthier eating lifestyles. So it started
Exactly.
out from that. And I was like, okay, this is just going to be, 'cause in India, they said it was a 3-week lockdown that got extended. And
Yes.
everyone loved the show so much that I just decided to, okay, do a second season. But simultaneously, because I'm also a meditation coach, I was conducting a lot of meditations online for global forums. I was conducting for radio channels. I was for their pages. So I was doing all of this. I was taking workshops on chakras and speaking to people about it. So the audience started enjoying it, and I think somewhere down the line, I always knew my purpose had got something to do with my voice. And with season two doing even much better than season one, I just decided to make it a permanent show. And I also would like to tell you, Ruksar, it's changed. Everything has changed. Season one was different, season two was different. Then season three, when things just started opening up, people were struggling. I started supporting small businesses. I made it an open channel for them to sell their products through my channel, because I am also a social media influencer. And prior to even the social media era, people have always called me an influencer. They're like, anything happens, they call Dimple. Anything happens, so I've kind of grown up to that. So I'm like, if people have the opportunity to use my platform and support themselves, support their businesses, because they were also running teams. It's not like if it's a small scale business, people are still working in teams. So that kind of did really, really well. And then then I started moving into small scale businesses. After that, I moved into I did a motivational series. So it's, even the show keeps transitioning. And then there was the last 2 years, there's been a lot of people have just got out of COVID. They've found their grounding back and they needed to regroup again. So a lot of my shows were relating around, different kind of life coaches, mindset coaches, so that people could come out of that mindset that they were in and now get back to the new normal of working from home, now getting back to work, starting to travel. So it's evolved. My show has also evolved. And I have a new season that's coming up very soon. Not gonna keeping my fingers crossed for it, but
wishing you all the very good luck
so
for the
much.
upcoming project.
Yeah, and through all of this, I've also done a lot of entertainment. So I interviewed different different stars from the from the e-celeb world, from the wedding industry world. So it was a mix of everything, and I think that's what people were really liking, that the monotony wasn't there in my shows. There was not like a particular thing, and it was fun. If I I don't know if I got the chance to still listen to a lot of my shows, because I had not even uploaded them. It was literally like an IGTV live, and that I was uploading to YouTube. But that's why they say, if when something really works for you, it just works, and different avenues open up for you. I think that's how my
Dimple,
channel.
You also have the experience of as you said just now, that you have interviewed so many people, you had a talk with different personalities. So what was your experience by talking and interviewing them, because each individual is unique? And what was your experience?
So each and every speaker has left me transformed in a different way that I can't tell you. There'll be one nugget you pick up, there'll be one line you'll pick up, and that has transformed me, even as a person. So I feel like every speaker that comes in, every person I'm interviewing is different. They leave their mark and they go, and that's what also makes you a show host. I'm sure you're in the same place.
Yes, exactly, because I'm relating a lot to what you are telling just now.
Yeah. So that
Yes,
also
because
makes you get better at show hosting, because you're like, okay, maybe this worked, this didn't work. I learned something new. Let's incorporate this. There's so many ideas that brim around you that you're
and
like, okay, wow.
with those ideas, we are learning a lot each day. If you will I don't know if you think like that or not. If we see a previous episode and the present episode, there are a lot of difference how we are communicating with the audience and how we are communicating with the guest. So in our body language, in our speech method, so there are differences, and how we evolve, we judge our own self.
Exactly. And I also feel like our audience plays the biggest role, no matter what we say, because there are a lot of valuable comments that come from them.
Yes.
Also, is something that we take it as constructive criticism, and we, like, a lot of people actually have mentioned to me that, maybe you could do this, maybe you could do, maybe you can fine tune this, maybe you can tweak a little bit of this, or they just throw in ideas. And when you use that constructive criticism along with the appreciation they are giving you, they're telling you because they love you, they love your channel,
Yes.
and they want to see you get better. So I feel like even with speakers, like I've interviewed so many well-known speakers, a lot of their knowledge when they get interviewed came handy for me, because even today, like even before I come to your show, no matter how many, I've done over 100 plus interviews and I've given over 50 plus interviews, there's still always going to be this little butterfly that's going to be like, oh my God, am I interviewing
Every
again?
time, no matter how many interviews and speech and how many times you go on stage, there will be a nervousness.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's the good one. Like, it's like you're prepared, you're going to speak about a particular topic, but you still want to be like, okay, I need to do this well, I need to get it in place. And I think a lot of speakers gave me a different sense of confidence in that aspect, where that changed a lot within me while I was presenting my shows then.
That's great. And one thing I want to add, you see, the nervousness is there for sure. But as soon as you start giving a speech or as soon as you start interacting, it becomes on a zero level. And then, we are in our own style. We present it in, and we rock. We know that very well. So, yeah,
yes,
that's
for
its
sure.
growth. Yeah. So, that one person, Dimple, who has positively influenced you the most.
Again, I'd like to say, I don't think there's one particular person that's influenced me the most, because, at different stages in life, different avenues, different aspects, you meet different people. I constantly get inspired. I'm constantly learning something. I'm constantly trying to see what I can take from them and what I can give. So what happens is, it would not be right for me to say there's this one particular person, but of course, like, I definitely feel like for me it's been my mom, because constantly she's always like, no, you got to do it, no, you have it in you, no this, no that. So even when you're in your low moments, which we all go through, you're like, you get into this zone of self-judgment, self-criticism, or sometimes the numbers don't do justice, your show doesn't do as great as it was, or sometimes network issues come up and you're just like,
Yes.
oh my God, like, I don't know what's happening. So, like, I feel in that sense, there's always been like a push, and that kind of really pushes me back. So instead of getting into the negative and being like, oh my God, this happened, I'm just like, okay, let's look forward. So I'd say my mom, but over the course of time, my teachers, my mentors, my audience, my friends, my family, and more importantly, my everyone at the Dimple Way, at my channel on Instagram. It's we often than not, Raksha, we don't. The world out there, the social media world, online world is also part of our family, which we spend so much time, and then I'm like, this is actually what makes us. We all are in some way e-celebs today,
Connected to each other. Yeah.
and we're
We are.
connected through the web. So I'm like, this is the audience that makes us.
Exactly. That's really true. So, Dimple, your one piece of advice to our listeners.
I would definitely tell you all to stay away from impatience. I myself was very, very impatient when I was younger. And when I mean impatience to get things done, to be successful, because we live, like I'm going to say again, we live in a social media world where instantly things are changing. I don't
Instantly.
like
That is the reason I want to add here. That is the reason why Reel has come up. Because we are, in an instant way, we want to do everything in a very speedy
so
manner.
instantly. Yeah. And it's like, we've seen it, we're bored of it, but we know we have more options. So we're again like just jumping. And this is one thing I'd like to tell everyone. At the end of the day, your hard work, your success is going to come with consistency, by being persistent, by persevering, by working hard, and by staying disciplined. And let's not forget, like, patience is that crown that you need to take you ahead on this road. So this is definitely what I'm going to tell everyone out there, including myself. I keep reminding myself that patience is what is going to get you there. But apart from all of this, there's a very important thing that I would like to tell the youth is, do start getting into a meditation practice, or get into a self, like a self me care practice, because that is going to take you a long, long way. That is going to keep you sane in this ever so busy world, from where, sometimes we don't even have time to breathe because we're not realizing we're constantly taking in information from social media. And to break the bias, I'm going to say, is break the mindset that I have to be of a particular age to start meditating. I have to reach, like I get these comments all the time. Oh, so you're this particular age, you don't want to live life. Like, have you like decided to, like leave life? And I'm like, what do you mean by leave life? They were like, no, because generally people start meditating late in their, like in their later, maybe 50s, 60s. And I'm
That
just
is a
looking and I'm
mindset.
like, it's the mindset. And that's what I'm going to tell the youth out there, break the bias. It's cool to go out there and meditate. It's cool to spend time with yourself. I teach kids right from they're 3 years old for meditation, right up to 80, 85. And I'm going to tell you, the quicker you get into a meditation practice, whatever it is, you will see massive changes within you happening that will compel you to do better for yourself.
And that is
So
the reason why, that is the reason why schools also incorporating meditation, and they are giving importance. Here also, in Middle East, schools are giving importance to meditation, equal importance, because mental health is very important. And that
very important.
should be, students should be trained from a very early age.
Yeah. Ruxar, they also speak so much about mental health. What nobody's really speaking about emotional health and energetic health. So your energy is what, like what dictates your life on a day-to-day basis. It's your chakric system, the energy that comes within from you. So if you're not meditating, you're not giving enough time to the body to calm down, rest, relax, get deeper. What is happening is your energy is not getting aligned. You're energetically you're energetically in not a very clean space. So you're operating out of a not very clean space. It's like, the simplest example I can give is, imagine you wake up and you don't brush your teeth. How are you going to feel? That's exactly the whole purpose of my brand that I started, The Spiritual Wand, is to tell people about energy cleanliness. It's what you do on a day-to-day basis. You don't brush your teeth, you don't take a shower, you are going to feel unclean. You know you're going to be unclean. That's exactly with your energy. If you're not going to clean your energy, how are you going to be clean? How are you going to feel clean? How are you going to act clean? And that is why meditation will help you get on the path to clear your energetic body, feel clean, energetic mind, and energy flows where attention goes. So your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, everything starts getting better.
That's really a great message to share, Dimple. And I would like to thank you for, taking out your precious time and joining our show today. And I hope the viewers will also enjoy watching this episode of ours, and they will take a lot of insights from your inspirational journey. So thank you so much once again, Dimple, for joining my show today and making it worth watching and an enlightening one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And it's been great chatting with your audience, and I hope you'll
and we
enjoy
really
the show.
had a great conversation. Even I, in this session, I enjoyed it a lot personally. So it was great overall. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so
Have a great evening.
You too.